Robert Stuart Fitzgerald was an American poet, critic and translator whose renderings of the Greek classics became standard works for a generation of scholars and students. Quote, "He was best known as a translator of ancient Greek and Latin. In addition, he also composed several books of his own poetry." Biography. Fitzgerald grew up in Springfield, Illinois, and graduated from the Choate School in Wallingford, Connecticut. He entered Harvard in 1929, and in 1931 a number of his poems were published in Poetry magazine. After graduating from Harvard in 1933, he became a reporter for the New York Herald Tribune for a year. Later he worked several years for Time magazine, as mentioned by Whittaker Chambers in his 1952 memoir, Witness. In World War II, he served in the U.S. Navy in Guam and Pearl Harbor. Later he was an instructor at Sarah Lawrence and Princeton University, poetry editor of the New Republic. He succeeded Archibald MacLeish's Boylston Professor of Rhetoric and Oratory at Harvard in 1965 and served until his retirement in 1981. He was a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, and a Chancellor of the Academy of American Poets. From 1984 to 1985 he was appointed consultant in poetry to the Library of Congress, a position now known as Poet Laureate Consultant in Poetry. The United States' equivalent of a National Poet Laureate, but did not serve due to illness. In 1984 Fitzgerald received a L.H.D. from Bates College. Fitzgerald is widely known as one of the most poetic translators into the English language. He also served as literary executor to Flannery O'Connor, who was a boarder at his home in Reading, Connecticut, from 1949 to 1951. Fitzgerald's wife at the time, Sally Fitzgerald, compiled O'Connor's essays and letters after O'Connor's death. Benedict Fitzgerald, Barnaby Fitzgerald and Michael Fitzgerald are sons of Robert and Sally. Fitzgerald was married 3 times. He later moved to Hamden, Connecticut, where he died at his home after a long illness. Bibliography. Translations: Euripides. The Alcestis of Euripides. Translators: Dudley Fitz, Robert Fitzgerald. Harcourt, Brace and Company. Sophocles, Oedipus Rex. Translators: Dudley Fitz, Robert Fitzgerald. Faber and Faber. Sophocles, Oedipus the King, Oedipus at Colonus, Antigone. Translators: David Green, Robert Fitzgerald, Elizabeth Wyckoff. University of Chicago Press. Homer's The Odyssey. Farrar, Straus and Giroux, 1961. Homer, The Odyssey. Translator: Robert Fitzgerald. Houghton Mifflin Company. Homer, The Odyssey. Translator: Robert Fitzgerald. Farrar, Straus and Giroux. ISBN 978-0374-22438-7. Homer, The Iliad. Translator: Robert Fitzgerald. Oxford University Press. ISBN 978-019283405-8. Virgil, The Aeneid. Translator: Robert Fitzgerald. Random House. ISBN 0394528271. Poems. Arrow Editions. 1935. A Wreath for the Sea. Arrow Editions. 1943. In the Rose of Time. Poems. 1939 to 1956. W. W. Norton and Amp. Coing. 1956. ISBN 978-0811202794. Spring Shade. Poems. 1931 to 1970. New Directions. 1971. ISBN 978-0811200523. Editor: Robert Fitzgerald, ed. The Collected Poems of James G. Calder and Boyers. ISBN 978-0714508870. James G. Robert Fitzgerald, ed. The Collected Short Prose of James G. Cherokee Publishing Company. ISBN 9780877973027. Flannery O'Connor, Sally Fitzgerald, Robert Fitzgerald, ed. Mystery and Manners, Occasional Prose. Macmillan. ISBN 9780374508043. Flannery O'Connor, Sally Fitzgerald, Robert Fitzgerald, ed. Everything That Rises Must Converge. Macmillan. ISBN 9780374504649.